Please welcome the senior class of 2026. Please welcome the advanced degree candidates of 2026. Please welcome Stanford faculty, guests, and the University President's Party.
If you're able, please stand for the President's Party.
sea to shining sea.
Welcome, friends, to Stanford University's 135th annual commencement. I invite you to be in a spirit of blessing with me. Let us be together. Amid the beauty of this campus, we pause, holding at bay for just a moment the future unfurling before us. Settle in, savor it, breathe. Our time here was marked by not one thing, but many. Exhilaration and exhaustion, achievements celebrated, failures that formed us, and the unexpected grace of finding home in one another. We hold it all together this day. And so in this moment, we offer our deepest gratitude for family and friends whose long labor of love sustained us, for professors and mentors whose generosity encouraged us, and for this community, Stanford, and all its imaginative and improbable fullness that taught us to delight in discovery and wrestle with complexity, listening deeply across difference, and seeking not only what is possible, but what is right. And so, called forth by love's unfailing optimism and hope's persistent demand, may we enter this moment with curiosity as our compass and wonder as our ground, carrying the daring belief that what we cultivated here belongs not to us alone, but to the world that waits for it. Amen.
Thank you, Dean Steinward. One of the limitations of being the university president is that you do not get to participate in the Wacky Walk. This weekend, I was feeling a little left out. But then, yesterday, one of the parents of the graduating seniors who happens to be on the artistic swimming team, inducted me as an honorary member of the parents group of that team. And as an honorary member of that team, I was bestowed with a special hat that they wear to all the matches. That feels better. Members of the class of 2026, faculty and staff, former and current trustees, distinguished guests, family members, and friends, welcome to Stanford's 135th commencement ceremony. Today, we are celebrating one of the largest graduating classes in Stanford's history. 1,090 doctoral degrees, 2,870 master's degrees, and 2,006 bachelor's degrees. Each of you came to Stanford to seek a transformative education. Today, you will leave as Stanford graduates. And we are here, 30,000 strong, to celebrate you and this moment. Let's hear it for the class of 2026. Now, I'd like to acknowledge some of the people who are here. The Stanford staff, many of whom are all around the stadium, have supported you in the residences, libraries, and labs, and in student activities, programs, and teams. Our faculty, including those who have joined me on the stage, have invested in you through their teaching, advising, and mentoring. Let's hear it for the Stanford faculty and staff. There is another group to thank, the families and friends who have devoted so much to get you to Stanford and support your education. Graduates, I'd like you to join me in a commencement tradition. Please rise and turn to face your families and friends. And now, for the dedication, encouragement, support, and love that have helped you get to today, please say thank you. Thank you. And now, Provost Martinez will present the University Awards.
It's now my privilege and pleasure to present the following prizes. The Walter J. Gores Award for Excellence in Teaching. The Lloyd W. Dinkelspiel Awards for Distinctive Contributions to Undergraduate Education, and the Kenneth M. Cuthbertson Awards for Exceptional Service to Stanford University. Recommendations for these awards were considered by a committee of faculty, students, and staff. The Gores Awards were established by a bequest from Walter J. Gores, a Stanford alumnus of the class of 1917, and recognize excellent teaching at the undergraduate and graduate level. I would like to ask the recipients to come forward now, and I ask that you all hold your applause until I've announced all of this year's award winners. The recipients of the 2026 Walter J. Gores Awards for Excellence in Teaching are Michael Scott Thomas, PhD candidate in political science; Kate Petrova, PhD candidate in psychology; Abbas Milani, Hamid and Christina Moghadam, Director of Iranian Studies and Research Fellow, Hoover Institution; Jason Hogan, Associate Professor of Physics; and Ron Abramitsky, the Stanford Federal Credit Union Professor of Economics and Senior Associate Dean for Social Sciences in the School of Humanities and Sciences. On behalf of the university, I congratulate each of you for this recognition of your excellence in teaching. I would like to ask the Dinkelspiel Award winners to come forward at this time. Lloyd Dinkelspiel's service to Stanford included the presidency of the Board of Trustees in the 1950s and was characterized by an enduring concern for the quality of undergraduate education. The recipients of the 2026 Lloyd W. Dinkelspiel Awards for distinctive contributions to undergraduate education are Anagali Chase Duncan, BA candidate in comparative studies in race and ethnicity, and interdisciplinary honors candidate in democracy, development, and the rule of law. Annette Salmeen, course coordinator for the program in human biology. And Patricia Burkett, Gavilan Professor of Physics. On behalf of the university, I congratulate all of you for this significant recognition of your contributions to undergraduate education. Our next award is the Kenneth M. Cuthbertson Award for Exceptional Service to Stanford University. I would like to ask the Cuthbertson Award winners to come forward at this time. The award was established in 1981 to honor the late Kenneth Cuthbertson, who steered Stanford's long-range financial planning and development programs. The sole criteria of this award is the quality of the contribution that the recipient has made to Stanford. The recipients of the 2026 Kenneth M. Cuthbertson Award for Exceptional Contributions to Stanford University are Scott Calvert, Senior Associate Dean for Administration in the School of Engineering, and Sophie R. Kleffner, Associate Vice Provost for Postdoctoral Affairs and Executive Director of the Office of Postdoctoral Affairs. On behalf of the university, I congratulate you for this distinguished recognition of your exceptional service to Stanford University.
Thank you, Provost Martinez. Most mornings for the last 36 years, I've started my day by walking across the Stanford campus. Much has changed. When I was an undergraduate student in the early 1990s, there was no engineering quad, no children's hospital, no Knight Business School campus, no Bing Concert Hall, no Far-Yaga Gym, not even a Near-Yaga Gym, no O'Donohue Family Farm, and no Coupa Cafe. Also, no phones, so even with fewer buildings, I was often lost. The absolute center of campus activity and the main link with the outside world was the Stanford Post Office. Everyone had to stop in White Plaza to pick up their mail, so there was always a gathering of students around the post office boxes. It was delightful, and it's no wonder that Stanford students invented the modern internet. Obviously, the campus has been transformed, but a great deal has endured. The beauty of the red tile roofs, the warmth of the California sun, the smell of night jasmine on a spring evening, and the breadth of activity and buzz of activity. Today, that means electric bikes, scooters, cyclists, tour guides walking backwards. A few weeks ago, a group of students gave me a ride in their self-driving golf cart. And always a few too many people risking disaster by looking down at their phones. Walking past a classroom or a cluster of students, the topic might be a Langston Hughes poem, a Supreme Court case, or the latest advance in protein folding. Last year, when the Coda building opened, I enjoyed stopping by in the evening to see Camille Utterbach's dramatic art installation and dozens of students studying in the atriums. Problem sets, I expect, although I know at least one film major who favors Coda. This year, I made a point to walk nearly every day through the beautiful new Graduate School of Education. with students gathered at the outdoor tables. Stanford is a place full of people who are deeply serious about what they are pursuing. Whether it's a law degree, a dissertation on ceremonial Aramaic bowls, yes, we have one of those this year, an honors thesis on market design, or a national championship in women's golf. We have one of those too. It is also a place where people don't take themselves too seriously, where we are curious to learn from our peers and colleagues, and sometimes in awe of them. That is why Stanford's campus, for all the years I have walked across it, has felt open and expansive, an environment of discovery and collisions and new perspectives. During your time here, this has been your home. You've taken challenging classes and conducted research. You've made friends and built communities. You've navigated tumultuous politics and the launch of a new technological era. You've been the ones talking about education and literature and computer science. Class of 2026, you helped to rebuild Stanford traditions. Full Moon on the Quad, the band run, Flicks, Midnight Breakfast, and invent some new ones. The On-Call Cafe, line dancing. Many of you got to see Lake Log with water. And this year, you even won back the axe. Bravo. I am confident that as Stanford graduates, you have learned a great deal. But if we've really done our job, you will learn far more on the journey ahead. The writer Wallace Stegner, who founded Stanford's creative writing program, once wrote a lovely book about teaching. He talked about exposing students to new ideas and inspiring them to write. He also said of teaching, nobody can teach the geography of the undiscovered. All one can do is encourage the will to explore. I know you're leaving Stanford with that will. One of the Stanford moments of exploration and discovery I will remember from this year happened thousands of miles away from campus, when the Vera Rubin Observatory in South America saw first light and started to release images of the cosmos. The observatory is conducting one of the most ambitious astronomy projects ever conceived. Each night it takes a picture of a third of the southern sky. The images are captured by the world's largest digital camera, built by scientists and engineers here at Stanford. The pictures, 20 trillion bytes of data each night, are sent back here to campus. And over the next 10 years, they will be combined to create the legacy survey of space and time, which will help astronomers explore the structure and origins of the universe. The discoveries that are coming from Rubin are possible because it looks at the sky in a different way. Most telescopes capture a narrow slice of the sky. Rubin surveys a vast swath. The history of astronomy has many examples where new perspectives led to discovery. Galileo used an early telescope to help prove that the Earth orbited the sun. The telescopes that improved on Galileo allowed astronomers to define the rings of Saturn and to measure the distance between stars. The trade-off was that the images they produced were upside down and reversed. The inversion must have been incredibly disorienting. But a different perspective gave clearer views and better understanding. Sometimes, perhaps often, disorientation comes before things resolve into greater understanding. I expect that too is an experience you've had at Stanford. At Stanford, not everyone studies the universe through a telescope, but we are all constantly asked to shift our perspectives. Universities are designed to bring together people with a vast array of expertise and different ways of looking at and thinking about the world. This is a great power of the university. In a few moments, we will confer degrees from 7 schools. Among you are artists and physicians, humanists and pioneers of technology, political scientists, lawyers, educators, and physicists. Each of you brought to Stanford a different background and different interests. Each of you has had the freedom to navigate your own path and to forge relationships, hopefully lifelong ones, with your peers. That panoply is distinctive to American universities and essential to our educational mission, especially to providing a broad liberal education. The best learning, insights, and solutions come from the freedom to think and from connecting disparate ideas. That is why the campus is designed to create intersections and discussions and friendships. A campus with a broad range of views is not always easy. Proximity creates friction. There's friction in bringing together people who think about the world in different ways, have different aspirations, perhaps value different things. But when the university is at its best, the friction is illuminating. It generates light rather than heat. That is what we try to accomplish at Stanford. So as you graduate, I encourage you to explore, to be ready to shift perspectives, and to not shy away from friction, but in doing so, to seek to bring light to the people around you and to the world. Class of 2026, congratulations. And that brings me to another Stanford graduate, today's commencement speaker, Sundar Pichai. Sundar is an insightful and deeply thoughtful leader. He grew up in southern India in the city of Chennai. As a child, he dreamed of becoming a professional cricket player, which is funny because I thought I would be the center fielder for the Yankees, only to discover that he was better suited to engineering. He earned his undergraduate degree from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, and then came here to Stanford. It was a life-changing experience. He came to Stanford to study semiconductor physics, and being here opened his eyes to the United States and to entirely new opportunities. Sundar worked for Applied Materials and eventually joined Google in 2004. He led the development of Google Chrome, which became the world's most popular internet browser. He took on increasing responsibility overseeing Google Maps, Google Search, and Gmail. In 2015, he became CEO of Google, and today he is CEO of Google and Alphabet. Under Sundar's leadership, Google provides services used by billions of people and is one of the most innovative companies in the world. Sundar himself has modeled thoughtfulness, humility, and determination in leadership, and in making decisions of consequence to Google and to the world. Please join me in welcoming Sundar Pichai.
President Levin, Provost Martinez, trustees, senior class presidents, thank you for the invitation to address you today. And to the distinguished class of 2026, congratulations. I must warn you all, this is only the second commencement speech I've ever given. The first was literally in my backyard. It was the spring of 2020, right in the middle of COVID and lockdowns. We were filming a YouTube commencement for the graduates who couldn't have their own celebrations like this one. When I look back on it, I see a time of great anxiety. I see the empty space where there should have been an audience. I see the haircut I gave myself right before filming. In fact, I really wish I could unsee it. Today, what I see in front of me is how graduation should be. Graduates celebrating together and with the people you love who have supported you on your journey. Your parents, relatives, friends, professors, and everyone who helped you reach this milestone. Let's give them another round of applause. They deserve it. I know not everyone you care about could be here. Many of you came from other parts of the country and the world, as I had. And it's not always possible for families to travel. In fact, this is the first time my mom and dad are attending a graduation ceremony I'm a part of. So let me say a special thanks to them and to my entire family here with me. I know today is about giving you all advice, but people have also been giving me a lot of advice on what to say. Actually, it's been the same advice, and it's about what not to say. People thought it would be really difficult for me. It's the last two letters of my last name after all. In all honesty, the topic is truly immaterial to what I want to share with you. The most timeless advice I've learned is technology agnostic. It's about you, the life you want to build for yourself, and the choices that help you pursue that life. Some of you know what you're pursuing already. Congratulations. Enjoy closing down the Rose and Crown now. It gets tougher with a day job. Many of you may have absolutely no clue. That's okay too. I remember feeling uncertain on graduation day. The sense that life was a series of really big moments and the pressure I felt to get them all exactly right. This is especially true for a group of high achievers who have sweated every grade, every paper, every exam, who have focused on having the right mix of activities, athletics, internships, and now your first jobs. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. While these things matter in the moment, they are much less consequential than you might think. You could have failed that biology test, skipped a class, never learned to play the tuba, and you'd still probably be here today. Let me tell a story of how I started to learn this for myself. When I was a student here, I had a classmate named Pat. He was from Long Beach, had an earring in one ear, which I thought was really edgy at the time, and a white two-door Honda Prelude convertible. One Wednesday morning in January, my first winter quarter, we were on our way to class. He was like, "Do you want to go to Vegas instead?" I had never skipped a class. I had never definitely taken a road trip before. In fact, this is the first time my parents are hearing of it. And yet I said, sure. So we went back to our dorm rooms, grabbed some things, and set off. You have to cut through the mountains to get there. As we drove through them, it started to snow. I'd never seen snow before. I stuck my hand out to grab it. I couldn't believe the softness of the flurries. Pat stopped the car so I could get out. It was really beautiful, a moment I'll never forget. 9 hours from when we set out, we arrived in Vegas with the night lights on the horizon. I didn't know what to think. Pat taught me how to play blackjack. I started with $5 and did manage to win about 15 more, and I was like, I'm out. We didn't have enough money to stay long, so the next day we started the drive back. No one seemed to notice that we had missed class. For the first time, I realized the world won't end if I relaxed a little. You're going to face a lot of moments in your life. Only a few of them are really important, and you need to get them right. picking a partner, choosing whether to start a family, a bigger career pivot. Those decisions require time and intention. However, you will face many more moments in your life that only seem really big, thousands of them, in fact, and very few of them are make or break. Your first job out of college, the city you move to next, whether to take that road trip. While those moments add texture to your journey, they rarely determine the course of your life. But if you're able to filter the signal through the noise, you can nudge your life in these moments into having the impact you want. So today I want to share 3 simple filters I've applied to my own life. 3 filters that have helped me get more moments right than wrong and took some of the pressure off. First, choose optimism. This might not ring true to you at this moment. The world is going through a lot. Global conflicts, economic anxiety, a rewiring of technology, information overload, all at a fast pace. It's easy to look at the news of the day and think that we are living in uniquely challenging times. For me, it's helpful to remember that each generation has faced hardship in their own way. We don't get to choose the world we graduate into, but we do get to choose how we frame our circumstances. This was something my parents instilled in me at a young age. I grew up in the vibrant city of Chennai, India. It was a comfortable life for the most part, but in those early years, we had some challenges. We worried about severe drought and whether the water trucks would arrive in time. And for us, technology came slowly. We had to wait years to get a telephone, a TV, a refrigerator. Each changed our lives in meaningful ways. My parents never let the constraints limit my imagination of what was possible. It's the reason I even let myself dream I could one day work in a faraway place called Silicon Valley. When the call from Stanford came, my father spent the equivalent of a year's salary to buy my ticket. It was my first time on a plane. When I landed in California, it wasn't exactly as I had imagined. I remember that first drive down 280 coming from the airport with my host family. If you're not from here, California is advertised as being really lush and green. But when I looked out the window, it was more brown. I guess I said this out loud, I'm not sure why. My host, Mrs. Jane Earl, gently corrected me. We prefer to call it golden, she said. And that's exactly what I mean by choosing optimism. It's about reframing for the positive. Where I saw brown, she saw golden. This slight change of perspective had a huge ripple effect on how I thought about the world around me. Lush forestry wasn't all that was misadvertised, if I'm being honest. The ocean looks warm and inviting on the brochure. A Stanford professor even emailed me before I accepted and used the beautiful beaches as a selling point. So the first time I went to the beach in Santa Cruz, I ran fully into the water. It was not warm. I've since learned that the Atlantic can be warmer, which, by the way, is the only reason Stanford joining the ACC makes any sense at all. Despite the brown hills and the cold ocean, it seemed like almost everyone I encountered had a generally positive outlook on life. Maybe it's because you can wear shorts all year, I don't know. I found myself adopting this California optimism, and it helped me navigate one of my bigger pivots during my time at Stanford. I came here fully intending to get my PhD and to move into academics. Life had other plans, and I needed to get a job sooner. So I left my doctorate program, and Stanford was generous to offer me the chance to fulfill the requirements for a master's. I could have seen it as the end of a dream, but thanks to Mrs. Earl, I was able to see that particular brown hill as golden. In that moment, I chose optimism. The second filter is to gravitate towards working on hard things. I'd love to tell you I was an immediate success after leaving Stanford. I wasn't. Even a decade later, I felt like I wasn't on the right path and took me a while to find my footing. Until I applied to Google, I had my final interview there in 2004. It was April Fool's Day and the day Gmail launched. So when my interviewer asked me about it, I wasn't sure if it was a joke or a real product. That's because at the time, 1 gigabyte of free storage for everyone felt super ambitious and almost impossible. A couple years into the job, I got my chance to work on a seemingly impossible problem too. It was around this time that the internet was moving into a new phase. The web was evolving from simple web pages to rich applications. There was a group of us that felt we could reimagine the browser to be much better and faster, and we had an early prototype that we thought was pretty good. Internally, there was a consensus that building a browser would be incredibly difficult, requiring hundreds of engineers. We had a group of about 10. The consensus was right. It was going to be really hard. In some ways, we were naive, and it's good to be a bit irrational when you approach new things. And in 2008, we launched what we thought was a great browser. We had 8 million users in the first 24 hours, and the reviews were really positive, and then user growth stagnated. After a year, we had around 2% share. I remember Steve Ballmer, the CEO of Microsoft, made fun of Chrome in an interview and called it a rounding error. It could have been demoralizing, but with that California optimism, I told the team that the fact he went out of his way to dismiss us meant we were doing something right. We kept going, setting highly aggressive stretch goals to keep the team pushing. We rapidly iterated, shipping the browser every 6 weeks, while others shipped one maybe every 6 months to a year. Success began to follow. Working on hard things has taught me a lot. It typically attracts other great and optimistic people. And even if you miss meeting the high goals you set, you will still achieve something great. So when you have the choice to work on something hard, say yes. And the third filter I use, when all else is equal, do the thing that excites you. For me, there has always been access to technology. The more access my family had, the better our lives got. I didn't have much access to a computer until I came to Stanford. So you can imagine my surprise when I walked into Suite Hall and saw rows and rows of computers that I could use anytime I wanted. It was 1993, and the internet was being built literally all around me. I saw it as a fundamental enabler of human progress. The idea that I could be a part of bringing it to as many people as possible was exciting. It's why I took the offer at Google, why I jumped at the chance to work on projects like Chromebooks and Android later on. Several years ago, I remember meeting a group of women in rural India using Android smartphones for the first time to learn new trades, to speak with loved ones far away. And I remember visiting a classroom in Pittsburgh and seeing students from different backgrounds learning through the products I helped to build. Seeing computing change people's lives as it had changed mine was the most exciting thing in the world to me. So as you look at your own path, don't focus on the thing your parents want you to do, or the thing all your friends are doing, or that society expects of you. Instead, think about the things that keep you chatting excitedly with your roommate late into the night, and go do those things. Class of 2026, I genuinely believe you're the most capable class in history, at least until next year's class. That's how progress works. You have thousands of moments ahead of you. The important thing isn't to get them all right, it's to find a way to keep moving forward. Sometimes we end up somewhere wonderful, like a beautiful snow-capped mountain. Other times we end up in, well, Vegas. Both are a gift. You already have the California optimism to see life's golden hills and a Stanford diploma proving you can do hard things. Now go out and set your heart ablaze. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you, Sundar, for those wonderful remarks. We've now come to the part of the ceremony where we will confer the degrees.
Mr. President, first, I have the honor to recognize all those who have completed the requirements for master's and doctoral degrees. They will be presented to you by the deans of their schools.
Will the candidates from the School of Engineering please stand if you are able? Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degrees of Master of Science, Engineer, and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean Whittam. By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates from the School of Engineering please be seated?
Will the candidates from the School of Law please stand if you are able? Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degrees of Doctors of Jurisprudence, Master of Laws, Master of the Science of Law, and Doctor of the Science of Law.
Thank you, Dean Triantis. By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates from the School of Law please be seated?
Will the graduates from the Graduate School of Education please stand if you are able? More. Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts, Masters of Science, and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean Schwartz. And on the occasion of your final commencement as Dean of the Graduate School of Education, please accept our thanks for your service to the university. And now, by the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates from this Graduate School of Education please be seated?
Will the candidates from the School of Humanities and Sciences please stand if you are able? Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Liberal Arts, Master of Public Policy, Master of Science, Doctor of Musical Arts, and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean Satz. By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates from the School of Humanities and Sciences please be seated?
Will the candidates from the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability please stand if you're able?
Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean Majumdar. By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates from the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability please be seated?
Will the candidates from the Graduate School of Business please stand if you are able? Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degree of Masters of Arts in Business Research, Master of Science and Management, Master of Business Administration, and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean Soul, and may I welcome you to your first commencement as Dean of the Graduate School of Business. By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates of the School of Business please be seated?
Will the candidates from the School of Medicine please stand if you're able? Mr. President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for the degrees of Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies, Master of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Medicine.
Thank you, Dean Minor. By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon you the degrees for which you have been presented and to admit you to their rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates from the School of Medicine please be seated?
Well, President Levin, have we forgotten anyone? I don't hear anything. The GSB was louder.
Wait, the undergraduates.
The undergrads. Now, Mr. President, I have the honor to recognize all those who have completed the requirements for undergraduate degrees. Will the recipients of the degrees Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Arts and Science please stand if you are able? President, I present to you those who have completed the requirements for Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and the Bachelor of Arts and Sciences degree.
By the authority vested in me by the faculty and trustees of this university, I am delighted to confer publicly upon each of you the bachelor degree and to admit you to its rights, responsibilities, and privileges. Congratulations.
Will the graduates please be seated?
Thank you, Provost Martinez. Stanford class of 2026, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come together to celebrate you. Today, you leave the family of Stanford students, but you will always have a home here at Stanford. I'd like to close with a passage that's traditionally been read at Stanford Commencement. It's from Adlai Stevenson. Your days are short here. This is the last of your springs. And now, in the serenity and quiet of this lovely place, touch the depths of truth, feel the hem of heaven. You will go away with old good friends. And don't forget, when you leave, why you came. Congratulations. Now please rise if you're able for the Stanford hymn and the benediction.
Let us be together one last time. In the days and weeks and years to come, may we hold fast to our will to explore, to traverse the geography of the undiscovered, ever pursuing new ways to see the world, transforming not simply perspective, but possibility. May we take delight in disorienting and disparate ideas, using friction to illuminate our collective path forward, remaining ever deeply serious about what we are pursuing, but never too serious about ourselves. And may we cherish the things that matter most, fervently and faithfully devoted to a life we seek to build, leaning into hard challenges, saying yes to what excites us, and confident that pursuing our passions transforms not simply our lives, but the lives of countless others. Friends, in the 1,000 moments that lie before us, may we remember life's most important lesson. We don't get to choose the world we inherit, but we do get to choose how we respond to it. It is never about getting it right. No, it is about finding a way forward. So let us go forth this day, filled with joy in our accomplishment and hope for our future, ever seeing brown as golden as we bring light to the world through our passion, curiosity, and boundless optimism. Amen.
Graduates, please remain standing at your seats as the faculty and President's Party recess from the field.
Amen.